claimed that Diddy groped his touched his butt. He believes that Diddy was to have he says that Diddy downplayed it just like he as a
So, just when you thought the P. Diddy drama had simmered down, bam, more lawsuits come flying his way. And this time, it's not about a woman, but a man. And the worst thing is that it's not just Diddy in the hot seat this time. Nope, there's a whole crew of big names getting dragged into this mess, and they're not being called victims. They're being labeled as partners in crime. We're talking A-listers like Cuba Gooding Jr., Meek Mill, Young Miami, Stevie J, Usher, Chris Brown, and even Diddy's own son, Justin Combs. Best now, it's been crickets from these co-conspirators since the lawsuit bomb dropped. But rumor has it that one of them is fuming mad right now, and that someone is supposedly Cuba Gooding Jr. And honestly, can you blame the man? The guy's been laying low dealing with his own lawsuit drama, and now his name's being dragged through the mud again. It's like his reputation's been taking a nosedive, and being looped into this mess isn't doing him any favors. Word on the street is Cuba's firing off some harsh warnings to Diddy, accusing him of exposing him as his so-called gay dog. And let me tell you, if these rumors are true, it could spell major trouble for the whole crew, guys. It's a wild ride, but let's buckle up and dive into the details. So there's this whole chatter about Diddy and his supposed weird friend zone. Right, people are scratching their heads wondering why on earth Cuba Gooding Jr.'s name popped up in the co-conspirator list. But it turns out these two might be tighter than we've ever imagine. Like they could be best buds for all we know, hitting up parties and maybe even getting into some mischief together now. If you're not up to speed, let me fill you in. There's a brand spanking new chapter unfolding in the Diddy saga, and it's looking like the end of his empire might be looming. And not in a good way. We're talking about some serious, heavy stuff that could potentially slam the door shut on Diddy's career and send him straight to the slammer. And guess what? That's exactly what's heading his way in this latest lawsuit. But before this, something happened just when Diddy thought he could wiggle his way out of trouble. He pulls a last-ditch legal maneuver, trying to discredit one of the accusers and practically begging the judge to throw the whole case out. And he even tries to play the victim card, crying foul about cancel culture. But before the judge could even raise an eyebrow at his antics, another lawsuit blindsides him, making it his fifth legal tango since November. This lawsuit is no joke. We're talking a whopping 70 pages of pure legal drama, and it's not for the faint of heart because it dives into some seriously disturbing allegations against Diddy. The accuser, Rodney Lira Jones, Jar producer who apparently worked on Diddy's latest album, the Love album, Off the Grid. Jones also claims that the 54-year-old music mogul tried to G him into accepting a homo relationship, alleging that this kind of thing is all too common in the music industry. We're just scratching the surface here, and there's plenty more juicy details where that came from. But before we dive into all of that, remember how we mentioned Cuba Gooding Jr. being dragged into this mess? Well, here's the scoop. According to the legal docs that TMZ managed to get their hands on, Jones believes that Diddy was pulling some shady moves with the intention of passing him off to other folks. And get this, he claims that Diddy introduced him to Cuba on his swanky yacht, and let's just say things took a nosedive into uncomfortable territory real quick. Allegedly, Cuba started making unwanted moves on Jones, totally crossing the line until Jones had to push him away. Jones even tossed in a pic of Cuba, hugging him as supposed evidence Mr. Combs had dominion and control over the actions of Cuba Gooding Jr. failed to step in and stop Cuba Gooding Jr. from essaying Mr. Jones. The suit alleges now we all know Cuba's been down this road before. Back in 2019, a bunch of women came forward with some seriously sketchy claims about his behavior, but this is the first time he's dealing with accusations from another guy. In June 2019, things got seriously messy for Cuba Gooding Jr. The dude found himself in hot water after an incident at a Times Square bar where he was accused of getting a little too handsy with a woman. But hold on, the legal roller coaster was far from over. Another charge was thrown his way, but Cuba managed to dodge the jail cell by striking up a plea deal. Fast forward to now, thanks to the Old Survivors Act, which is the same law that allowed Cassie to sue Diddy last November. Two alleged victims of Cuba have come forward with a fresh lawsuit. In this lawsuit from 2018, which the time got their hands on, a woman claimed that while she was working as a cocktail waitress at Lava restaurant and nightclub in New York, Gooding forced his tongue into her mouth without her consent. Gooding ended up pleading guilty to a criminal forcible touching charge related to the incident, and get this, the lawsuit filed just recently includes a chunk of the transcript from Gooding's testimony during that whole legal mess. When the judge asked him to describe what went down, he straight up admitted, "I kissed the waitress on her lips," and confirmed that he did it without her permission. In the 2019 filing, Kelsey Harbor spilled the tea, claiming she approached Gooding at the Magic Hour rooftop bar and lounge, hoping to meet the actor, but things took a dark turn when she ended up sitting next to Gooding's gift girlfriend. Harbor alleged that Gooding, being the total boundary crosser, reached over and decided to get a he in all the wrong places. She described feeling shocked as she suddenly felt his hand groping her breast, treating her like she was nothing more than a piece of meat. Harbor wasted no time, filed a police report within a week of the incident, and guess what? Gooding ended up pleading guilty. Once again, the video appears to show Gooding putting his hand on her thigh. A few seconds later, his hand appearing to move up towards her. Gooding is then seen pulling her hands to his lips. Now fast forward to the civil lawsuit, where Gooding straight up confirmed that it was indeed non-consensual physical contact. During his hearing, both women involved are seeking some serious damages for an battery, lost wages, and the emotional, mental, and physical toll this whole mess took on them. Oh, and let's not forget about those attorneys' fees. As for Gooding's camp, they've been pretty tight-lipped about the whole ordeal, with no immediate response to the media's inquiries. Gloria Allred, who's representing the two plaintiffs, isn't holding back. In a statement, she made it clear that her clients aren't backing down. They're seeking the justice they couldn't quite nab in the criminal case, and they're not stopping until they get it. So, yeah, Cuba has definitely got a whole plate full of legal drama to deal with. Maybe that's why the rumor mill's spinning about him gearing up to defend himself against this fresh suit from Jones, because let's be real, if these rumors hold any truth, it could spell disaster for Cuba's reputation. Now, let's shift focus back to the lawsuit. Jones dropped the bomb on February 26th in a New York federal court, and according to Jones, he was practically living in Diddy shadow for over a year, from September 2022 to November 2023. And if you take a peek at his Instagram, it looks like he's got the receipts. There's even a video of them pumping iron, probably on Diddy's yacht, back in Riley 2023. Now in his lawsuit, Jones claims he caught a ton of video and audio of Diddy, his A-list pals, and his staff getting into some seriously shady business during their hangouts. According to some juicy court docs snagged by Billboard, this Lil Rod Jones Jr. dude is dropping some serious bombs on Diddy. I'm talking about allegations of inappropriate touching without consent, and some seriously sketchy attempts to rope him into these rumored foes with other guys. And get this, did he supposedly Ramees Jones a Grammy for his production work? If he, and I quote, taste the rainbow, if you know what I mean. Among the laundry list of accusations is Diddy allegedly strong-arming Jones into arranging encounters with sex workers and pressuring him into participating in some seriously unwanted bedroom activities, not just with these workers, but with others too. And if that's not enough to make your jaw hit the floor, get this, Diddy supposedly served up spiked drinks to unsuspecting guests at his swanky parties. According to the lawsuit, there are even screenshots supposedly showing gatherings at Diddy's digs that included underage girls and more sex workers. And get this, some of these ladies allegedly had their drinks tampered with at Diddy's direction. But wait, there's more. This legal bombshell isn't just aimed at Diddy. It's also calling out some big names in the industry. We're talking about Diddy's right-hand woman, Christina Korum, Universal Music Group CEO Solution Grange, and former Maytown Records CEO Ethiopia Habtem Mariam. They're all caught up in this legal whirlwind. Jones says in the lawsuit that Gray Habtem Mariam Town Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group effectively worked together with Combs and ARICO Enterprise that failed to adequately monitor, warn, or supervise the actions of Combs, his son, and his chief of staff. ARICO Enterprise is any individuals or groups that act together to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. And get this, Jones isn't just looking for a slap on the wrist here. He's aiming high, seeking a cool $30 million in damages. Now, Justin Combs and his legal team are firing back at these wild accusations with full force, according to a statement from his